Hey, you're right. It's really chicken and the egg. Like, and the question becomes, what's harder to find and stick with in the NFL, a decent coach or a decent quarterback? You know, you have much more turnaround and much more availability for quarterbacks than you do head coaches.
Well, in this particular situation, Dave is being kept before Bryce is. Bryce isn't surviving the third head coach.
Yeah,
So
he's
I mean
not.
but here's the thing. I don't necessarily. Again, I don't think it's all on Canales. I'm like, dog. If this is the second coach that has told you that, hey, we don't really trust this kid at a position. Now I ain't saying that's how I feel, but this is the second coach now that has alluded to the fact that I don't really trust like his play style. I don't trust his physical attributes. I don't trust any of it, and they kind of coach it like that as well. So it's like it's one of those things where I'm not putting it all on one or the other because there are plenty of guys that did film breakdowns this past week that have shown that like Bryce isn't throwing these deep shots.
No.
Bryce is missing windows with some of these routes, some of these crossers. The only receiver he can find is T-Mac, and that's cool because everybody was cool with that idea at first. Everybody was like, force feed T-Mac.
Yeah.
All right, well you. Oh yeah, we go ahead, bro.
Yeah. No, you're right. We've been doing this last few weeks where we're just like, oh yeah, we probably should like start the episode because we haven't really been doing that.
Right.
Our wonderful patron Matt, everybody, here at Locker Room Charlotte, where you can get dope gear for the team that doesn't want to look nearly as good as the merchandise that it used to put out. Look at that was I got a bone to pick. I brought my girl to this game, first time she's ever gone to an NFL game, and y'all, if y'all know me, I don't get to be a fan for very many games, especially home games. I got to work most of them. And we went to the Tampa Bay Panthers game 2022, 23?
23. Bryce's rookie year, yeah.
Where we didn't put up a point.
Mm-hmm.
This was a more pitiful showing.
No, for sure. Because I mean,
one of the most pitiful showings.
That was my first time back in the bank since that game.
Oh my God, we gotta stop going to games.
Yeah, no, I'm cool. That's my fault, bro. Because I mean, I didn't expect. I thought the game would be tight. I knew we weren't. I knew we wouldn't blow them out. I was fine. I was fine knowing that. I was fine knowing that we weren't going to blow them out. I was wondering, can you sustain? Can we sustain? I think only thing we've been asking for is, all right, you had some success. How do you build on top of that? And y'all proceed to come out and tell everybody that y'all had a terrible week of practice. It was a lack of focus. It was no energy in the locker room before the game.
Big-headedness, like I don't.
Bro, big-headedness for how? You were 5-4. Like, how can you ever be? Like, and I get it. You beat Green Bay and Lambeau. That's a stat. I'm not gonna act like that's not a good victory.
Yeah.
But you also have losses by like 30 plus to New England and also Buffalo. So it's like, where do you think you are as a team? I'm like, bro, y'all are somewhere in the middle, but not good, nowhere good enough to be getting. You'll start smelling yourself to the point where you come in like lackadaisical about the Saints.
Like, especially a division. It'd be one thing if it was like the Browns or like the Jets.
Even still, you can't even say that because you're the Panthers.
Exactly, because that's what teams, and that's what you get upset about teams saying about you. Let them think like we're nothing, and then we're gonna come out and show them. But you do it for a division rival, like that is your bread and butter in the NFL. And what we literally said on the podcast beforehand: handle the division.
Yeah,
that is your route to the playoffs, and that is your route to proving that you're taking steps forward as a franchise. So from the get-go, I mean, I'm not going to say don't give guys rest. Like a victory Monday, but you should not have given them a victory Monday this time around.
This team has not earned that. Like, what I'm saying? And I understood why he did it. Like, hey, we just went on the road. We got a big win in Lambeau. You know what I'm saying? Let me shoot my guys some bail. Let me try to look out, show them like, hey, look, I'm going to try to take care of y'all. Y'all took care of business. I'm going to try to take care of y'all. So I understand it. I understand the psyche behind it. But clearly it had a direct correlation to how you performed on Sunday.
Because that was the same thing they had said about, I think, it was about the Bills game. We didn't come out and practice well, this, that, and the third. Like, and I think they said about the Patriots game, too. Like, it was very, like, kind of just we had a different mindset coming into it. Okay, well then, like, how in your second year as a head coach and in week 10 of the NFL do you not know how to have a good practice? And not only that, you are NFL football players. Saying we didn't have a good week of practice is something high school coaches say.
Well, y'all get paid, dog.
Like, it's your job.
The whole idea of you getting paid millions is to practice.
like
What are we talking about? I didn't have a good practice. What you mean you had a bad day? A bad day at work, and you got, bro, J.C. Horn, brother. What?
Dude, I don't even know.
Like, bro, you got like this is not basketball, bro. We don't just flail our arms to get the foul call, bro. That's not how that goes.
No.
Play through the whistle, dog.
I don't even.
When I seen that,
You can't sit up, and then he's 20 yards behind you, untouched. Like, you can't sit up and look at the ref.
what's crazy was he threw his arm. He was in phase when he threw his arms up, which I don't understand why you don't just play through the whistle.
Yeah.
The ref's got to throw that flag. You can't throw it for him.
No.
Like, wrong sport, big dog. I know he took ownership after the game, but I'm like, damn, dog. Those 2 touchdowns directly correlated to you losing that game.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, straight up, because
it was 17-7.
17-7. I can't really do anything other than say you didn't help. Now, other guys also didn't do their part, but that was a huge, a huge piece of it. But I mean, nonetheless,
embarrassing. Like, it was straight out embarrassing. You had Saints fans tripping you in your own stadium. The few and far between that there were.
Bro, there's like 5 Saints fans in that building, bro. This is the first time I've seen a stadium. And Matt, I know you can probably speak to this. Like, when's the last time you seen a Panther stadium that packed out with actual Panther fans?
Lord have mercy. Bryce's first game against the Saints.
Yeah.
Like, we know for the Saints fan base, it's not one that's necessarily going to travel like that, but they're going to chirp like anybody else. And they're 1-7 at that point. 1-8, sorry.
Yeah.
At that point. Like, dog, go in and handle your business. We talked about this. The Panthers play outside of, a few outlier games, play to the strength of the team they're playing against. And that is that is a modicum of unpreparedness.
Mm-hmm.
It's an indicator of not building consistency. We talk about a consistent culture. Playing up to your talent, to your competition, or down to your competition does not beget any sort of culture.
No.
And that and we'll get into the X's and O's of what really was an issue later. But like in the grand scheme of things, like it was an all around bad football game. They were getting to the second, third level on the defense without even getting touched.
Facts. I'm not gonna put this on the defense though.
I'm not
as an overall unit. This is 100% on either. It's about a couple guys that gotta take full blame. Dave Canales, J.C. Horn, and brother Bryce Young, because those 3 guys to me caused this to happen. The rest of the defense, for the most part, that opening drive, even when you gave up the big play to Jawan Johnson, you still held him to a field goal.
Yeah, you did.
So I mean, it's like, if I knew JC was gonna give up a bomb, then I'm like, damn. And then I knew he was gonna get burnt.
Because you're never gonna get that OPI called. You're never gonna.
You're never getting that. They're rarely gonna make that call anyway, and you trying to beg for it is also not gonna help you either.
Especially mid play, like he popped up and immediately looked back. I'm like,
I give credit to Avero's unit. Like, I thought they held this down for as long as they possibly could, because that game could have got it. If that were a decent team, that could have gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
Because
we made them look better than they are, though, in my opinion, because you had Schaaf come in there, and you couldn't even get after him.
You couldn't. You couldn't. But again, it was really only a couple plays. It's really these plays. His yards came off of huge chunk plays. These weren't like nickel and dime. I'm really working you down the field. So it'd be different. If that's how I felt they were moving the rock. Like, bro, they got the ball. Bro, we got a 4th down stop and we still didn't turn it into anything.
Yeah.
So it's like your defense did what it was supposed to do to an extent. I gotta look and say, like, you don't have any semblance of an offense outside of T-Mac and Rico Dowdle. No. That's your biggest issue.
And they came in and said, if we're gonna shut that down, what are you gonna do about it? Mm-hmm. And this is like something that we've talked about is inevitability. Like, you can't just be a 1-trick pony, 2-trick pony in the NFL. That's not gonna get you anything. And so not being able to establish consistent play, either from a targeting perspective or a route, like a play calling perspective, or just like a chemistry perspective, to only have one receiver that's actually doing anything, like, and that's what's so baffling is because this, like, in the games we've seen the Panthers perform well offensively, while they're not, 200-plus yard throwing games, mm-hmm. the ball is still being spread around. Yeah. So, like, it just looked like lackluster, unprepared, like we've said, something like those, like the Jet, like indicative closer to like the Jags game where you can't get anything going, and that's what's so upsetting about like where has the anything been with Jalen Coker? Did Bryce Young forget how to throw to Jalen Coker? Did he forget how to get the tight ends into the mix? Like, bro,
it's just the fact that you have two receivers that you played with the year before that I would hope would have had some type of carryover in terms of continuity, and you got a rookie that you
and a tight end
and a tight end. And
I know, and we'll talk about it. I'm saying in the hope that you would hope that you would have hoped.
Bro, I need his reps cut.
That you would. That's what I'm saying. Emphasis on
hope. And then you have T-Mac, who you've quickly formed a rapport with.
Yes.
I don't understand why we can't find these guys at all. Like the only receiver you can get the ball to consistently. The first play of the game, if we're passing the ball, guess who it's going to? It's going to T-Mac.
Yeah.
Is he gonna catch it? Probably. But bro, where's the rest of this? Like the only quarterback right now. I mean, the only time you've had a receiver have a big day outside of T-Mac was XL against
New
the
York
Jets,
with Andy.
and that was with Andy.
And that was more of a fabrication of just there's nothing else we can do right now.
There's nothing else we can do, bro. We gotta take some chances, but dog, I mean, what are they here for? If not for anything, what are they here for? Jalen Coker was a UDFA, and he fought to make this roster, but all of a sudden now he can't get anything going. Nothing. He can do nothing now. I'm just not rolling, man.
And especially to say, we've talked about this, you're living and dying with this basketball team of wide receivers you have, where you either have weeks where you hear from all of them or you hear from none of them. No. We haven't spoken the words of Hunter Renfrow, Bryce and Tremaine, even Jimmy Horn, none of them.
Well, Renfro's been done since.
Yeah, we knew that.
Since Jimmy Horn got elevated.
Yeah.
Tremaine was injured. I mean, he didn't dress at least.
No.
So I mean, he wasn't there. But you don't have defined roles for these guys.
That's the bigger picture I'm trying to paint. Where you don't there's no situational draw for any of the guys outside of we need someone to catch the ball right now, throw it to T-Mac. Even now you're creating an unfair narrative surrounding T-Mac because he's gonna, if you have that many targets. Unless, you're going to drop something.
You're going to drop something. He's a rookie.
He's a rookie. And they're not as egregious as XLs have been, mind you, or Jatavian Sanders. But, the same narrative was made about it.
I don't know.
I mean, some of them have been.
I don't know.
Maybe not as many.
But they've kind of are. He's getting the lion's share of the target. He kind of has as many, and these have not been great. He's got a couple of them in the end zone.
Yeah. He's probably dropped, I'd say, 5 touchdowns throughout the span of the season.
I'm not knocking the kid or anything, but I'm just you are getting the lines. So you get the lion's share of the targets, you get the lion's share of the work. You do got to take some of this heat because it also hasn't been great. It hasn't been perfect from his perspective. But again, I'm more than fine with how he's performed, but. I don't know, man. At this point, it's got Bryce and Dave got to find it. Now, I'm not out on Bryce, but they got to find it. Whatever it was that worked last year at the end, you got to find that. Because if we can't make it the rest of the season throwing for less than 200 yards a game.
No. And because you can't, you can establish the run, but if you have a front 4, front 7, like the Saints do, that is still, what they live and die by, which you're going to see with L.A., you're going to see with Seattle, you're going to see with Tampa Bay. You're going to see it with pretty much everybody that you're going to play the rest of the season. Even, Falcons included, Saints again. You're going to see a front 7 that's going to get after it. And if you continue to have this rotating carousel of offensive linemen coming in and out every week, they've done incredibly well for what they've had to been asked to do, mind you. But outside of that, the running attack, you're not going to be able to set if you cannot throw the ball. And like we said, Saints have opened it up. If you can stop Bryce Young and you can shut down Rico, that offense is cooked. And now you only need to put up 17 points. And that's the Panthers we've seen the past few years.
Yeah.
And it's like a night and day Jekyll and Hyde, where in the Jets and the Packers, they didn't get a whole lot of offense off, just enough, and the defense held off long enough to give you the win, as opposed to, the Bills. I mean, as opposed to the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Talking about last year, I'm also saying, get whatever offense you were doing for Cowboys and Dolphins, you weren't setting the world on fire offensively, but you were at least being consistent.
Because you're banking on run for 200 yards, and if that's what and if that's your recipe. Now, I'm not gonna. So here's the thing, right? I'm not mad at how Dave has gone about shifting this offense because I think once he realized that, okay, we have a defense that can actually get us stops this year, and we have a ground game. As soon as we insert Rico, we have a prominent ground game. I'm gonna shift the mindset to ground and pound, conservative play, game manage. Let's get it, and we're just gonna get through. See, the difference is, it's cool when like Philly does it.
Right, I was saying it's cool when you have Saquon Barkley.
It's cool when you got a Saquon, you got that offensive line, and you still have those receivers on the outside. So when it's time, they can still go make some of those. You got to get those. I think with these young receivers, you have to get them involved early.
You do.
You really do, because I don't think these guys are good enough, and it's hard for them to keep that focus of, man, stay locked in. When I haven't touched the ball, it's the third quarter, bro. And you know what's crazy? You know ESPN didn't even register that attempt to excel as an actual target.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So aside from that he had 0 targets.
That's crazy.
So
because I have like XL. I speak highly of you. Not highly. It's not true. I hope highly of you.
Mm-hmm.
That was egregious, dog. You are bigger than you are. Like, extend. I know it's hard to maybe find and track the ball in that moment. But
I think he lost the ball. I think if he found the ball, I think he maybe reaches out, but I don't think he tracked it well. So that's an even bigger issue.
Exactly, because that's what you've made your bread and butter on, is being able to, in that moment, high point the ball, find it before the cornerback does, and come down with it. That's been your, that's been your marquee for it. But we should have, and especially for a guy that developed that long in college, you had more time than most to figure out how to do so. So what concerns me is, we've talked about, like I said, is it Bryce Young, is it Dave Canales, right? We've been in this constant civil war since Bryce Young got drafted. It was the turning point of this of this new era of this franchise, trading up to get him, trading picks to get him, giving away DJ Moore to get him, not knowing if the coaching staff and the GM in place at the time wanted him as your franchise guy anyhow, trying to surround your team with weapons around him and coaches to have him. Now he's got a second coach, again, trying to do 2 first-round wide receivers in 2 years for him. Tight ends, we've drafted 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers, picked up a UDFA wide receiver, signed multi-million-dollar deals for offensive guards to protect him. And, now it's like, dude, can you deliver? Because as, realists, not apologists, as realists, we've said long and far that the sole problems of this franchise for a good amount of the time have not been Bryce Young in his tenure here.
Right.
Now the pendulum is starting to swing, and you're getting to a point where, okay, is Bryce Young the problem? And it is a matter of, but then you get to this further Pandora's box of, okay, well, in the last few weeks, has he been fully healthy? With what appears to be a, not stable trust built between him and Canales, is he playing incompetently because of that lack of trust, or does Dave not trust him because he doesn't think he can perform to his abilities?
I think two things can be true. I think Bryce isn't taking some of these shots. I think they're calling them. Bryce isn't taking them, and at least because we understand this. Sometimes you gotta take a shot just to make the defense respect that we'll do it. You keep sending the blitz, because as much as the Saints blitz you, they blitzed Alontae Taylor a lot in that game. They brought up safeties and other DBs to make sure, hey, you're not gonna run this ball. So you try it, and sometimes you really just gotta try it to see. I think there's a lack of confidence in Bryce. I think maybe because of how they've coached it this year, because of how the philosophy changed and how they saw what the strength is. Maybe there's been a hesitancy to take some of these shots because, hey, I know we're going to lean on our ground game. I know that's what we want to do. We want to run the ball. We don't really want to get into this game where I'm throwing the ball 30-plus times.
That's fine.
And that's fine. I think also the ankle is still a factor. That was a high ankle sprain. It doesn't just magically get better. It doesn't just, you know what I'm saying? He's going to deal with that for the rest of the year.
Especially with only having a week and a half off.
Right.
Basically 2 weeks off from it. We talked about that. This is a big indicator, with Andy and Bryce's benching last year. Andy goes down. Well, now you have to put Bryce back in. Again, with a Packers game, with Andy breaking his thumb mid-game.
Yeah.
you have to put Bryce back in because now and we'll talk about this in a second, now their mindset shifted as to what they think they can achieve this season.
Facts. Yeah, and again, I mean, we talked about it in the pre-show. I don't know if they expected to be here at this point, 10 weeks in. Like, I don't think they expected this. So I think there is a part of Dave that I think is coaching a bit tight. Like, I do think he's not. I do think the offense does lack the creativity that it had at the end of last year, because we talked about that in the pre-show. The free flow and the backyard feel to last year's offense at the end is not what we've seen thus far. And the last week I could say we probably saw an offense that was open was Arizona.
Absolutely.
And that's because they just jumped out on you so quick that you had no choice.
Exactly.
So,
which is what upsets me, though, is because you feel like you found a common ground in that Miami game and that Cowboys game, even before Rico puts up 200 all-purpose, right? Like, that 200 all-purpose was facilitated due to the fact that they had to put up offense. Your defense was slipping. But then you also delivered those drives, both game-winning for Miami and for Dallas, were 50-50, right? Rico would break off a big run. And then the last few plays, like we talked about it, a Jimmy Horn fourth down that you needed to have, a Hunter Renfrow fourth down that you needed to have, touchdowns in the back of the end zone to a wide-open Mitchell Evans. Like, the pass and run in those drives where the offense seemed to click.
They were married together.
Even in the first drive of the Saints game.
Yeah, it was married together.
Like,
now, I will say that drive, I don't believe that drive was great.
No, it was – you got lucky.
You got lucky because that interception by DeMario Davis was for damn sure just a terrible throw by Bryce right there. And, I mean, I think a good play call by Brandon Staley, because I think we forget. Like, I think he's a good DC.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was a terrible head coach. Not fit for that. But, like, as a defensive coordinator, I do like what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw some different looks at him. DeMario Davis started out and showing an A-gap blitz, drops back into the seam, picks up Ja'Tavion Sanders up the seam, and Bryce throws it right to him.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, okay, so this is where the mindset is in a question for me, where we talk about not, forcing some of these plays, like, not taking those shots downfield. When you have when you're a more free-flowing offense, you don't have to think, the pressure isn't on you as much, you can then be creative. When you feel like, and we talked about this in pre-show, if you feel like you're a head coach and offensive coordinator, and one does not trust your abilities to perform in the way that he wants you to, you're going to think your margin for error is incredibly tight, and you're not going to step out of what you have thought. And so if you're also getting bull rushed by defensive coordination and, defensive system that is doing what it's designed to plug up your primary weapons, you're going to find the first person you can to dump the ball off to.
Yep.
i.e. a Ja'Tavion Sanders, when you probably shouldn't have thrown that ball. And then if your ankle's off, you're pushing it weird, and you're sending it right into his hands like he did in Green Bay. So we've seen, how many of his picks called back this year?
It's a good bit.
Almost about as many as he's thrown as well. And that's what we talked about as a main issue, paramount, for the Frank Reich year. They came at that offseason saying we're swinging for the fences and shooting for the playoffs from the rip.
Yeah.
And because of that, we saw a head coach who was coaching well out of what he was expected to, what he should have been expected to do, and then incredibly conservatively. So Bryce is getting, put in a lockbox to say you have to do this, you have to do that. If you can't, don't throw it away. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. And you saw it at the beginning of the season, the throwaways into the end zone on fourth downs where there's nobody open, so don't take a sack. And it was only now that we're starting to build up these games, put these wins together, hey, the rest of the NFC is kind of up in the air. We can make a push for the playoffs. That's where I'm like, okay, does the philosophy, like you said with Dave, start to change? And that inherently starts to affect Bryce. It seems, to be honest, the integrity of this offense hinges on the trust and relationship between Bryce Young and Dave Canales.
Absolutely. Because to be fair, what did it hinge on before that? Because you didn't know Rico Dowdle was going to do this.
No, you didn't.
And you weren't going to play him.
No, and you weren't going to play. You're absolutely right. And Chuba was getting some pops off, but not nearly enough.
Not nearly what this is.
No.
So I think that they got. I think the answer is really simple: is those two have to lock in. They got to trust. They're going to have to trust each other, because you have 7 games left. You got a big game on the road against Atlanta this week. You can't go in there not trusting each other, because it's got to happen this week. This is a must-win scenario if you want to make the playoffs.
Oh, God, yeah. I was messing around the other day, got the ESPN playoff machine, and it kicks back up in Week 11. Essentially, if you want to even sniff the playoffs, and at this point, pretty much like a wild card, maybe division, like one game above situation, you could afford losses and will lose to Seattle and LA if you play like you did last week. If you
Those are the only two you can afford, really.
Those are the only two you can afford. You pretty much have to sweep the Bucks.
Yep.
And you can, even if you beat the 49ers, you still need some help from them to lose some games if you want to make wild card. And then outside of that, if you don't even want to make wild card, if you want to win the division, you have to win out the rest of the division.
Yeah.
You cannot lose another game. You can only afford losses to really.
The
you
NFC
can only
West.
afford 2 losses out of those other 3 games.
Yeah.
Seattle, San Francisco, LA. You can only lose 2 of them.
Now, I guess what I will say is, well, shit, look at us. It's November. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like, on one hand, I can still say, brother, we're talking about the playoffs in November, something we haven't been able to talk about in a long time. It's just a conversation. Like, it's been a minute.
But to be honest, I think that's like I just said, I think it's one of the exact things that's hindering that trust between Dave and Bryce right now. The pressure, obviously you play to win every game. But if you're playing to say, it's playoffs or bust, and you think nothing else of that, like, you got to have to play a little bit right now for the way that this team is built up with very little margin for error and very little depth. You have to play with a sense of, what do we have to lose?
You do. Because you don't really – I think we still know that you're not as talented as some of the teams you're going to go see.
No, and more than likely you're going to get to the playoffs –
you may get you gonna get a whole stump to your ass. It's all good. I just I want to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because being there is better than being at home. Dog, you're gonna have to go balls to the wall and just, hey, bro, we gotta go. And you're in the dome this week. Ain't no weather. Ain't no nothing. It's a fast track. Hey, get to it. Get to work. I don't think I ask really at this point is a Veros unit. If you could please, if a Veros unit can keep us in it,
just what?
That's all I can ask for, really.
Literally, all you should be doing is watching the first game against the Falcons this year and the last game against the Falcons last year. Figure out ways to replicate the energy on defense that you did in that first game.
Maybe not defense on that last one.
Atlanta. And I'm saying specifically defense in Atlanta in the first one. Yeah, and then offensively, what you did in the first one, because in the last one, because while the offense put up obviously 30 points, it was mainly actually I think about 12.
It was the defense. The defense scored those.
So so put offensively what you did in that last game in Atlanta. Figure out how to key back into that, because that was the best offense we've seen, I think, from Dave and from Dave and Bryce. It's one of the best performances we've seen out of them.
Yeah, that one felt. It felt monumental. It felt like, oh, this was the step. Yeah. Like, if there were a game to play next week, I'm like, damn, oh yeah, bro, I'm really geeking. Like, you out here hitting, turnaround touchdowns. Like, come on, bro, like, you was doing everything.
You're swaggy. You're like,
throw that visor back on, big dog. Throw that damn visor on and put that sleeve on. I'm about sick of you, bro. Quit doing that.
Stop being
That's
swaggy.
Your look. Bro, you look, man. We want consistency, and I'm just BSing around right here, kind of, sort of. But throw that shit on, bro, please. Because every time I've seen you in that visor and that sleeve, hooped out. You know what I'm saying? Going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Going wild with it.
Because that's the thing with Bryce. A confident Bryce is a killer. The
yes.
Carolina Reaper is a killer.
But, like, it's the fact that we have to sit here and debate about, like what Bryce are we going to get? Because we know there's one that we can get that we think we think we got a shot against anybody. And there's another one that's like, dog, who can we beat? Can we even are we even an NFL team?
Like, and that's what kills me, right? Because I don't know. And so you look at it right now, Rico, Trevin, and Lathan Ransom didn't practice on Wednesday. Derek was limited. Luckily, Chandler and Bryce and Tremaine were full practices.
Yeah.
So, we hope Derek Brown shouldn't be anything, but it was his quad, so it's a little. It was a knee, so that's a little bit concerning. Rico at probably this point it has to just be attrition setting in at week 11. He's just gassed. And then I think Lathan he punched whoever in the when he was trying to because that touchdown. He came in like 2 seconds later and popped him at the goal line. I think he might have hurt himself in that regard. But yeah, you're right. Like, we shouldn't have to be debating which guy we're going to get. And that was like, because, that was what the whole thing was, like that, certain fans like to say about Cam, like, oh, which Cam are you going to get? Is it going to be Super Cam or, the towel? Which, again, there was a certain criteria of fans that push that narrative that are also, oddly enough, the ones pushing more of the envelope onto Bryce than they need to be. So, just show that you can be that guy, right? And for Canales, like key into that. I don't understand how you kind of haven't clicked into this. Okay, like you said, there's obviously a change to say, well, Rico is pushing the offense forward, but then once that, like, if that doesn't work off the rip, like, because in those games with in Atlanta last year, it was Miles Sanders out there. You were not pushing the rock to win that football game.
You had to sling that thing across the yard. You had no choice.
And like I said, even in Miami and Dallas, like, obviously Rico was the tone setter and he got you out of certain situations, but you still were able to it was 250, sub 250 on the ground and the air combined. So you were using him in screen situations. You had Jimmy Horn in there. Like, remember what you did. It's like Mufasa. Like, remember who you are. Remember, please, because my God, like, it just seems like they go out, and we talked about that unpreparedness. We don't know what Bryce we're gonna get. We don't know what Canales we're gonna get. We don't know what Panthers we're gonna get. And these last 3 weeks have been more indicative of that than ever.
Yeah.
To go from the Bills to the Packers to this.
Yeah. No, look, bro. I mean, it's why you're 5-5. It makes sense why you're 5-5.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense while you're 5-5. So we actually have no idea what we're gonna get these next 7 weeks. What we could probably assume is that, and at least based off our recent history, this could fall off.
We could be 5-12.
Yeah, we can still end up 5-12. That's why I'm like, while I am happy that we're in this, that we are in a better place, we're not where we want to be still. You need about 2 more wins for me to feel like this was a successful season.
Yeah.
But even still, like, that means you would finish 2-5. And I don't know how great I'm gonna feel about finishing 2-5 just to get to that 7.
Especially if that means, because then if we're being realistic, then it's probably the Saints and the Falcons are the only 2 that you beat in that stretch, and you have to beat the Saints just for respect for yourself.
You need all the wins you can get now.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, you can't, after what you just pitched up again there. So go out here, sweep the Falcons, which is something that would give you a stamp for a Panthers team and coach that they have not had in quite some time. No. To be able to sweep the Falcons in a season for a team that doesn't think that we have a rivalry with them. Right.
It's a weird matchup because both of us are probably the most down on our teams that we've probably been all year.
Oh, yeah.
The Falcons are, I know the Falcons with Michael Penix in that situation, they are.
And they have a huge list of inactives right now.
Yeah. I know for us, it's still. And here's the thing, like, even with those list of inactives, still got to show up. Still got to execute because we just had a week of y'all boys telling us you didn't practice well, you couldn't execute. So, I mean, where's the focus going? Where's the focus going to be at? Where's the leadership at? Like JC, Derek Brown, Bryce, Damian Lewis. Like, can the leadership right the ship? Here's the thing. I feel like we may have spent this entirety of this episode. People probably deem it as overreacting to maybe some of what we're doing. And I really don't think we are, because I'm not out on the kid. Like, don't let any of this fool you. I'm not out on him. I just know we have seen 2 different Bryces from time to time, and we've seen more of the bad than we have the good. So we do have to be realistic. I don't think either of us here are done with him and think he can't rectify it this upcoming week. You know what I'm saying, and get us back on the right track.
No, yeah, I need to get to a point where I'm 100% certain that the problem is solely on Bryce Young, or at least majority on Bryce Young, and I'm not at this point. And we talk about, it's incredibly hard to put a valuation on a quarterback in his first few years and a coach in his first few years. With Frank Reich, you're like, okay, this was a bridge situation. You were seeing nothing. So It was understood and made sense to go, yeah, let's just get him on out of here. We don't need that. And even last year, you're like, all right, well, are we really going to fire away off on a quarterback when your first year head coach is benching him less than a month into the season.
Right.
So you're like, it doesn't give you the chance to evaluate who is the worst of the two.
I think that's the problem we're running into as a fan base. Like we just, I don't think none of us know. None of us truly know who's to blame, who gets the credit. So right now I think we just got to let it play out and see. And here's the thing. These next 7 weeks will tell y'all a lot. It'll tell us all a whole lot. I think because there are multiple scenarios that can happen here. There's 3 of them. You lose out. You finish 5-12. You know what I'm saying? There's the middle where you win a couple, you lose a few, you may end up with 7 or 8 wins. Then there's the other side where, not necessarily, maybe not win out. It's not impossible.
But like 9 and 7.
You go. I mean, because right now we're 5-5. You finish 11-6, 10-7. 10-7 more realistic is what I'm thinking. But like, you know what I'm saying? But like, you finish 10-7. Okay, well now that changes everything.
I'm throwing a parade.
Because see now you got to keep everybody. Now everybody has to get retained.
Yeah.
If you finish in the middle with 7 to 8 wins, all right, maybe we're thinking about it, but everybody probably likely comes back. Finish 5-12, get them going.
and this is what like really irks me too about like the civil war going on right now, because I even saw some posts about like from another page talking about like, all right, well here's what you could do. You know, you could potentially sign like a Daniel Jones, sign like a whoever, or I saw some dude said for like Tyson Baggett, like pick up him, and then roll with like a Jordan Love, Tyson Bagent. Like
we are in the middle of a playoff race, y'all.
And you're acting like it's the middle of a
Y'all
rebuild.
are such losers, bro. Y'all are losers, dude. You know that. I think all of you that are doing mock drafts, potential free agent quarterbacks, you're a loser.
Crazy.
Like you are. I would hate to be in the field with any of y'all.
Crazy.
Cause y'all just a bunch of y'all just kind of pump made. Y'all kind of made.
Cause like the frame of reference is insane because this fan base has been so impatient for certain things in the sense of obviously they deserve better than the mediocrity that's been perpetrated by the Tepper organization.
Right. We all deserve better than that.
But, like, y'all are also the ones to say, well, look at Baker Mayfield, look at Sam Darnold. We should have waited on, but you wanted them out the door faster.
You wouldn't have waited.
No,
I was there. We were there. Y'all didn't want to wait on that.
Joe Brady, like,
Because here's the thing. At the time, I was cool with bringing Sam Darnold back. After we finished that year 7-10, I was cool with bringing Sam Darnold back. Like I said, I thought Sam played well enough to be like, hey, look, if you were going to roll with Steve Wilkes at the time, obviously this is all, all behind us now. But like, I was cool with bringing Sam Darnold back. Y'all hated that idea. Y'all didn't want Sam Darnold back.
No.
Sam Darnold's hooping out too. Now, you love to throw in Baker. Baker didn't play a single game worth a damn in the Panthers uniform.
No.
So there was none of this that we saw that we're seeing from Baker in Tampa. That didn't exist.
And he did it in a week, 3 days later.
Yeah, not even a week.
3 days later, and showed you immediately your system, your organization is at fault. So I'm not saying that Bryce is going to turn out to be one of them.
Right.
But we've had conversations about it. If we were to ship him off, and then he gets picked up by L.A.
Right.
Green Bay. Like somewhere where they don't know what their situation is, and then balls out, you're gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go, okay. Not that it was necessarily means it was Dave Canales' fault,
right? But
a good coordinator and coach learns how to unlock what's good about this. So to just go there and say, oh well, he shouldn't survive, this because clearly these two guys say that he's not up to snuff. What credit are you rolling with?
Right.
To say that
Frank Wright, the same Frank Wright that's coaching at Stanford right now.
Like, what is your credentials to say that he can't do this, and for Dave to be the quote unquote quarterback whisperer, like, or did Geno Smith and just Baker Mayfield come up into bad situations and then got into good situations?
They just kind of, and that's more so what happens more than anything. But it is what it is.
All that to say, like, to go back into the quarterback pool in a class that is becoming increasingly more lackluster.
I seen the pool of quarterbacks y'all were talking about.
Lackluster.
No. These you think you're waiting on Bryce to get it together. I don't know if those kids are. I don't feel great about any of them. Like there are guys that I like You know what I'm saying? But the only quarterback that I think, the only young quarterback I think they can take, that I would like put my stock into would be Dante Moore out of Oregon. But even he's kind of fell off the wagon a bit.
And then aren't you just in the exact same situation you're in right now, just putting yourself
right?
Like,
and like the quarterback, I think that I don't know if the quarterback that can change or bring you that consistency is in the draft. I also don't know the quarterback you're looking for is more than likely a backup right now or going to be a free agent this year. That's more than likely the quarterback that can probably help you move forward. But none of these guys are. Look, I'll say this: this upcoming offseason, though, there does need to be an effort put into getting a real backup quarterback option.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't bring in competition. I'm not saying don't bring in real comp. I'm saying that I'm not shipping Bryce off to do that.
No.
I'm saying if you want to bring in a Will Levis or Daniel Jones or Tyson Badgett, cool. They can be brought in, but Bryce Young will still be here and they will compete.
I mean, I saw someone who put out Malik Willis tape.
Oh, did I say Will Levis?
No, you did, but
I didn't mean to say that.
You meant
I meant Malik Willis. I don't know why the hell I said Will Levis, but yeah, no. I mean, hey man, two cheeks, same ass, man. So, I mean,
and a flat one at that. Look at and then no, because I mean, you have the blueprint for how that can work out in your favor right here with Rico and Chuba. You're seeing it in real time. You bring in Rico off of a 1-year deal, thinking backup running back.
Mm-hmm.
Chuba goes down, and then now, even with Chuba healthy, you're still going, okay, Rico's your RB1. And so that's the situation you can have with Bryce Young, but I don't think that you move off of him to do so.
I'm not thinking about that. I'm just not doing that. I'm just not thinking about that right now.
Yeah, think about the season. We're not even out of yet.
We're not even out of the season, dude.
I know as a fan base, y'all are used to being done by November, but that's not the case. Enjoy it. Enjoy playing football that matters because now we've got the rest of the division. You've got 4 more divisional games.
Yeah, everybody lost this week except for the Saints, but yeah, everybody lost.
And that win don't mean nothing.
Not for them. It's not moving anything for them.
So enjoy that. The Bucs are not invincible.
Nope.
The Falcons are a mind screw. And getting increasingly more harder to predict as it goes along. And then you're not going to get. I don't foresee you leaving Bank of America Stadium with wins against the Rams and the Seahawks. I just don't see that. Case. The 49ers, you've got a chance. That is what you have a chance to play just consistently. To get a bit these next 2 games because it's Atlanta and San Francisco on a longer week, you can make a statement on primetime football.
Mm-hmm.
You have not played a good primetime football game.
God, since when, bro? Since what?
2015.
Did we have a primetime game in 17 at all?
There was a Saints game 2019. That was the weird fumble into the back of the end zone. Dante Jackson picking off a 2-point conversion.
When's the last time? I think. I remember that.
Dolphins game in 2017.
Yeah, then maybe 17.
I think that was the last time they've won in prime time.
Yeah, I think maybe it.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 100% positive that's the last time we won in prime.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, if you can put up 2 good games here, and you turn out 7-5, there's a real narrative shift about what this team is, and you're gonna have all these fans that. Smitty might have been a little all right about.
No, he was right about y'all.
Coming back around, and I'll say also, Meow should stop talking at all, okay? Because even you talking about not talking clearly has a negative effect on these fans.
Yeah, bro. Hey, look, man.
I mean, on this team.
I don't know if I said it last week. I'll say it this week, dude. Here's the thing. Y'all made it a publicity stunt to post that note and to say. You're going on hiatus. We didn't know. We didn't care the first time. We don't give a damn now. But you have made yourself famous. You have made yourself notable for not talking. So stop it.
Do what works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it, man. God almighty.
I'm again damn sure not. We didn't pick to win last week. We didn't pick a score, and I'm damn sure not doing it now. Because although I'm not sure, I don't think it helps or hurts one way or the other. Clearly,
I gotta. Here's the thing. I gotta assume that line is 1.5 favoring Atlanta. If I had to guess right now,
yeah, I'd say
solely it's 3.5. Atlanta by 3.5 is what they got.
Solely because it's in Atlanta.
It's solely because it's in Atlanta. I don't know. Still not gonna pick them. I will go to my handy dandy, schedule that the preseason picks that we did though.
And I would have had to say, I think I've called this the way I feel like it'll go down, where I think I picked us to win the first game.
Well, I did pick us to lose this one.
I think I did too, because solely for the fact of it not being able to ever sweep Atlanta for some ungodly reason.
Right.
And then it being in Atlanta. Like, I thought we'd get the early season win over them at home, but mid-season, still haven't had a freaking bye yet. Like, injuries are going to probably be set in, and clearly that was the case. So, yeah, I think that's going to be more than likely the outcome. But, God, I mean, if you could go – because then I think you have a bye after the 49ers game, if I'm not mistaken.
Rams.
After the – Lordy.
Mind you, on a short week.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That one's going to be abysmal.
Not ideal.
And that's on that's after Thanksgiving weekend, isn't it, too?
Yeah.
God, so they go on a short week. They play the Monday before Thanksgiving?
24th.
That might be a 60-point game.
I don't foresee it going great. I can't trust that team to go. I can't trust that team to go on the road and do that.
It's in
San Fran.
Oh yeah. So I'm not saying that one was a 61. I think the Rams coming from West Coast on a short week after Thanksgiving.
If you think Kyle Shanahan can't do it, shit. Hey,
I'm more
with Jawan Jennings, yeah, you gonna get this work. You know what I'm saying?
Remember when Jawan Jennings had 400 yards last year? However many yards he had in that one game, or he did something ridiculous. He had the 4 touchdowns and 300 yards. He's gonna do that same shit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you gotta stop Curry. You gotta stop. Hey, this will be our first time playing McCaffrey, right?
No, I thought we played him before. I thought we played him at the beginning of one of the years.
Did we?
Well, he might not have been healthy, but I feel like we played the 49ers since the trade.
I don't think we have, bro.
Have we not?
We played him that year we traded him.
But we hadn't traded him.
He hadn't traded him yet. So I think this will be the first time he's played Carolina since he's gotten traded.
Fun. Oh God. Yeah. So y'all figure it out. I don't know. We don't know what it.
We don't know. I mean, we can't give you any real prediction because this team has been so unpredictable. So and honestly, it's only right that we just don't pick anything. So
I couldn't. No idea. So I don't know. Y'all watch and figure it out. All right, deuces.